good afternoon, good night. How you doing? This is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Today we are going to have a serious conversation. Well, maybe not a serious conversation, but there's going to be a serious talk happening here. Now, of course, I'm only doing the talking, but just stay tuned. I can't seem to help. It's like you cast a spell. I'll keep loving you. You don't love me too. But I won't cry it. I'll just sing a lullaby. You moved on already. I know I gotta stay strong. You said that you love me forever, but I guess that's gone. And I can't seem to hide all this pain that I feel inside. But that's okay, I'll just sing a lullaby. Listen, I can't seem to help. No. Oh, it's like you cast a spell. Can't believe we're through. You win and you lose. But I won't cry, I'll just sing a lullaby. Listen. You moved on already and I know I gotta stay strong. You said that you love me forever, but I guess that's gone. And I can't seem to hide all this pain that I feel inside. But that's okay, I'll sing a lullaby. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is MCM, and you are listening to You're Probably Right podcast. Thank you for joining me. And for those of you who've been around for a while, I really, really, really appreciate you. Didn't know I could get this far. I thought 50 was a lot. I was like, wow, I got 50 episodes. Then I got to 100. I was like, yeah, I'm here. And now I'm at 199, and I'm like, well, what have I really done besides ramble on in people's ears for anywhere between half an hour and an hour or so. I just want to let you know again that, as usual, that this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a professor of anything, but I am a professing Christian. So most of my ideas, my personal experiences will come from that walk of life, from that belief system. Again, it's not perfect. So if you really want to know what the Bible-based belief is on a certain aspect of anything that I say here, the best way to find that out is to open the Bible, 66 books of the Holy Bible, in whatever, I wouldn't even say whatever, but American Standard, Old King James, New King James. But beyond that, I'm just giving my opinion. In most cases, that's what it is, or I'll be giving at least my own spin on things because it's not necessarily my own opinion. And I did want to actually make some sort of a statement that I don't usually make, since we're at 199 and who knows where we're going at 200, and I might take it in a different place. I try to make my episodes evergreen, but of course they're not always evergreen, of course. But I just want to say this before diving in. I want to make it clear that this episode is backed by peer-reviewed research on workplace relationships. Sources include studies from behavioral science and social psychology, exploring how workplace dynamics impact relationships. While I'll be giving my own take, of course, these insights are rooted in actual real data not just my opinion. Now let's get into it. But I just figured I just wanted to say that. But remember, I'm an old bean, so I've been places, seen a lot of things, done a lot of things, and data, documents, peer-reviewed articles, and many PDFs are great, depending on who those pieces were done by. But at the same time, there is no substitute for actual real life experience, and that's what I bring to the whole table. And that's the difference, I think. Sorry, I gotta roll away from this microwave for a sec. And I think that's the difference between me just I alluded in my last episode about having AI, and I made a whole podcast. I was like, man, maybe I can actually do the research, put down whatever I think needs to be in there, and then have my AI, perfect AI version of myself, read off the information. I tried this. I listened to it. To me, it was horrible because I don't think it's necessarily the information or the knowledge that I'm giving in this, for entertainment purposes only podcast. So, sometimes you want to hear a person get stumped. Sometimes, you can hear the silence. Sometimes you want to hear somebody stumble over a few words, read a word wrong, make it crack, maybe self-deprecating or whatever it is, just over making a mistake. All that little stuff in the middle makes us people, right? Obviously, my voice doesn't guarantee that I'm a person, because we can use AI to do that. We can use AI to copy my likeness on a video, even just from a picture, right? AI has brought us to a different place in this world. But there's something about a personality that's different, right? So we can see a person, we can hear a person, but the reality, that's a whole different thing. And I'm guessing that you're going to hear a lot of different podcasters and content creators talk about this, the fact of the reality in person. I think that's the part that they're not going to be able to clone so easy, because they can clone pretty much everything else. They can make a model of everything else. Everything that you can think of people making a model of or a copy of or a clone of, you'll be able to do. But the reality, nah. So look out for it. I'm sure it's going to be out there. Anyhow, I probably just made that up too. But anyways, maybe I just coined a phrase, reality. Yeah, you probably Google it and somebody already has it. Anyhow, in episode 199 of You're Probably Right, we're delving into the complexities of workplace romances, examining why engaging in relationships in a short-term job can be fraught with risk, while finding a life partner in a long-term career setting often makes more sense. And I'm going to make this thing larger. Bigger is better, they say. Well, apparently not really, so whatever. Here we go. All right, so this introduction, I don't even know why I wrote it this way, but anyway, all right, let's break it down the way it should be. Straight, no chaser. Workplace relationships, they're definitely a tightrope walk over a pit of HR policies, morning after awkwardness, and the kind of gossip that spreads faster than free coffee in the break room. On paper, it sounds ideal. Meeting someone at work, where you're already going to spend most of your time anyway, getting to know, a person organically, watching them handle stress, deadlines, and Karen from the accounting department. But reality, that's a whole different beast. Because here's the thing: whether a workplace romance is a disaster waiting to happen or the start of something real depends on one crucial factor. Is this a job or is it a career? Okay, guys, I'm trying to read my writing here, and this is what I'm talking about, the ality of persons. My the glasses I'm wearing are like doing some wild stuff right now, bending the text, messing with me. But hopefully I got you. What is it? I got you salivating for the rest of it. I don't even know. Okay. Is it just a job? Something you're doing to pay bills while waiting for your real life to start? Dating a coworker is like ordering sushi at a gas station. Risky, bad idea. And if it goes wrong, you're stuck showing up every day to the social equivalent of a crime scene. Your ex is on the schedule, the break room the break room got a jury, and the manager is one. Of course, we need to talk. Away from losing patience with your drama, and let's not even talk about what happens when people start treating workplace relationships like a dating app with benefits. Because once the reputation sticks, it doesn't really wash off. But now flip it. What is a career? What if it's the place where you're investing your time, your skill, your energy, where you actually care about the long game? That changes everything, I would say. Because now you're meeting people who move like you. People with ambition, work ethic, discipline. People who aren't just clocking in for the check, but are building something real. And in that kind of space, workplace romance isn't just something you should be flinging around. Pardon the pun. It's something built on mutual respect, shared goals, and long-term stability. And that's the difference. A job is like a summer fling, temporary, easy to get into, and even easier to regret. A career is a foundation, something you build on, something that shapes your future. And that's why dating is, I guess, a risk. While finding a partner in the other could be one of the smartest moves you ever make. Anyhow, let's get into it. Sometimes, when you write something, then you read it. Anyhow, whatever. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay. First of all, let's get into the risk of dating in a short-term job. Okay. For those employed in traditional roles, such as retail, hospitality, or entry-level positions, the potential pitfalls of dating coworkers are often outweighing the benefits, for sure. The problem is that you're spending all your time around this person. Oftentimes more than those in your own home. I mean, like, think about a full-time job or a part-time job or even just a summer job, right? Maybe you got to show up for 8. You don't leave until 4. Or you show up at 9, you don't leave till 5. Or most of those times, if you're really a dedicated worker, will turn more into 7:30 to 4:30 or 5 or 4:45 to 6. You never know, right? Depending on what you give at your job. So first of all, lack of investment in a workplace culture. In temporary jobs, employees may not be deeply rooted in the organization, viewing their roles as mere stepping stones. This transient mindset can lead to a disregard for long-term consequences of workplace relationships, of course. And then there's high turnover and blurred boundaries. Industries with high employee turnover often experience a lack of clear professional boundaries. This environment can make it challenging to separate personal relationships from professional responsibilities, leading to workplace drama and decreased productivity, of course, because everybody's talking. Acting the fool, mouse will play when the cat's away, Complications from multiple relationships. Ugh. Engaging in multiple romantic relationships within the same workplace can damage one's reputation and create a web of complications, especially in a close-knit work environment. And of course, absence of shared long-term goals. Without shared vision for the future, relationships in a short-term job setting may lack depth, sustainability, often being based on convenience rather than compatibility. In other words, they're just there all the time. Yeah, that's just John, right? He's just there. I see him every day. We talk about the customers, we talk about the product, we talk about the long shift, we talk about our manager. So you obviously naturally develop this camaraderie, you develop the same enemies. you develop the same affinity. You have the same physical pains because you're doing the same, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of similarity. So of course it becomes a convenient place. All right, next. The benefit of finding a partner in a long-term career. Now, in contrast, long-term career benefits such as education, I'm going to take these glasses off, education, healthcare, the corporate sector, or skilled trades provide a fertile ground for meaningful, lasting connection. And I know people always say, don't something where you sleep, right? Makes sense. But we're not sleeping, we're working. Sometimes some of these sayings mean nothing. Okay. Authenticity through prolonged interaction. Working closely over time allows individuals to observe each other, and our true culture, our true character, work ethic, responses to various situations, fostering genuine connection. Ups and downs, highs and lows, sickness, pain, gotta go home, I don't feel well, I was off this week, where were you? All that stuff. It tends to have you caring for people you work with. Alignment of professional and personal goals. Sharing the same professional and often, it often means aligning our core values, work ethics, and life aspirations, which can strengthen the foundation of a personal relationship. Stability and commitment. Career-oriented individuals typically seek stability, both professionally and personally. Building a relationship in such an environment can lead to mutual support and understanding of each one's professional demand, or each other's professional demands. Jeez. Maintaining professional boundaries. Professional settings often have established protocols that help maintain boundaries, ensuring that personal relationships do not interfere with your workplace responsibilities. So, you got to do your job. You want to keep your job, you want to move up in the company, you're going to really be selective in what you do, who you do it with, what you say, all of that stuff, because it'll come back on you. Segment 3. And we're going through this pretty quickly, guys. There's no point to dilly-dally around things. We're already at 20 minutes somehow. I don't know how we get that fast. I feel like I just opened my mouth. All right. Parallels between workplace and community-based relationships. Okay. The dynamics of workplace relationships shared similarities with those formed in community settings such as religious groups. Okay. Shared core beliefs, of course, and values. Just as individuals in religious communities bond over shared faith, co-workers in the same profession often connect through common professional values and ethics. Natural observation and opportunities, of course. Both settings allow for observing potential partners in various situations. You know, you'll see them go through everything, right? Um, and it definitely provides insight into their character and compatibility. You're at work, or say you're at the church, and the person that you're interested in just had a death in the family. You're going to be able to see them go through it, literally, unless, of course, they're off work for a very long time. You're going to see them go through the highs and the lows. You're going to see them go through. You're going to know if they're a morning person. You're going to know if their energy kicks up around midday. You'll know if they're all loosey-goosey at the end of the day, and maybe it was just stress from work why they're a certain way. You're going to know you're going to know if they're a morning person. You're going to know if they come in crabby. You're going to know if they come in high energy. There's so many things, get to know, if you're a people person, there's so many things that you're going to automatically, by osmosis almost. People like to say things don't happen by osmosis, but like these things are natural because you're seeing them in their natural setting. It's somewhere where it's a place that they want to be and they spend a lot of time. And you're going to see a lot of things that you wouldn't see necessarily from someone who would be maybe online somewhere or at a bar or at the grocery store or walking through a mall. There's so many things you just don't know. The only thing you generally know about somebody who's walking through a mall or someone you see online is what they want you to see in most cases. The average person, unless they're rushing through the mall and had to go there to pick up some random thing, probably put on their better clothes because they never know who they're going to see. Or if it's online, then they took 50 pictures of that one picture that you saw, and the one that they picked is the one that shows them in the best light. You know what I mean? So that should say something as well. It's like, do you want somebody who's been made up to trick you or to entice you or to draw you in? Or do you want somebody who just happened to drop the bottle of ketchup in the break room and now they're trying to clean it up, or they don't clean it up? Got me? There's so many things that you learn just from little things, day-to-day interactions, right? Integration into social and professional circles. Relationships formed in these environments often come with built-in support systems, as partners are already integrated into each other's social or professional network. Okay, hang on. So let's be real. Workplace relationships are like playing poker at your family reunion. High stakes, messy if you lose, and everybody's watching. But the key factor, if you're working a short-term job, dating a coworker is like it's like lighting a match in a room full of fireworks. You're setting yourself up for drama, awkward shifts, and a reputation that'll outlast your employment contract when the job itself is temporary. So it's most of what comes with including in a relationship anyways. You get all kinds of nonsense that happens, right? Of course. People in these environments don't typically plan for longevity, so mixing business with pleasure usually turns into a lesson of how fast things can get really weird. But if you're in a career, a place where you're actually investing time, growing, building relationship, growing up and building a relationship is different here. You know, the reality is you see the person in their natural environment. You see them care about things or not care about things. You see them taking time and putting in effort because they care about what happens next week or next month, in relation to what they're doing right now. You see them and how they deal with customers. You see them on how they talk about people around them who they work with every day. You see how punctual they are. You see how much of, how much of their word you can really trust. Even talking about other people. Sometimes you have to wonder when you see somebody talking about other people a lot, you wonder, what do they say about me? Right? You might agree because maybe you have a common enemy or a common person who drives you both nuts, but it's not necessarily an enemy. Well, how does this person deal with those people that they don't like at their job? You'll also know a lot of the time what they did in their last relationship or what type of person they were in their last relationship. Maybe you were just a friend and somehow you went on a trip, or you had to spend a whole day at a training, and you learned more about the person. Maybe you had to break bread all of a sudden. Breaking bread, eating in, say, the staff room, or going out for a coffee. You can learn a lot about a person, things that they, you just didn't know. And, a lot of times those conversations have the phrase, I didn't know that about you. I had no idea. Maybe you learned that they know how to order lunch. Or maybe you learn that they don't know how to make coffee. Or maybe you learn that they like to use other people's coffee cups. Or maybe you learn that they stole somebody's lunch from the refrigerator in the staff room. There's so many things. There's so many things that might be quirky, might be red flags, no fly zones, or there might be many things that you just love. At work, you're surrounded by people who share your work ethic a lot of the time, your goals, maybe even your lifestyle. Long-term success is built on alignment, and career settings naturally weed out people who don't match your ambitions, and they leave. New people come in, right? This is where relationships are less about flings of convenience and more about actual compatibility. So workplace romance is it's not about whether you should or shouldn't. It's about where you are and what you're building. Final thoughts. Navigating workplace relationship require consideration of specific environment and potential implications. By being mindful of the nature of your job and the dynamics of your workplace, you can make informed decisions and pursuing personal relationships in a professional setting. Remember, the key is to balance the personal desire with professional responsibility and ensuring that any relationship enhances both your personal life and your career trajectory. I read that wrong. Remember that the key is to balance personal desire with professional responsibility, ensuring that any relationship enhances both your personal life and career trajectory. Oh my gosh. Anyhow, I think I should have just winged that one. But anyway, as I was saying, there's just so many things you learn around the people who could be a potential. Now, I think the trick is is not making it a habit. Because if you make it a habit, you might get into a relationship and then you might get into another relationship. It's just if you started one, chance of starting two is very easy as well. And it's sad when people who are in relationships enter a job just to find out that, you always hear about wubbies, right? Workplace husbands and wives and all that stuff, where you find out you have a lot more in common with the people you work with than maybe somebody that you're actually in a relationship that you met on Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, christianmingle.com, and wherever other people where people do actually date online. I have no clue because I don't do it. But at the same time, if you meet somebody at work and things go left, that's a problem, especially if that's a place you wanted to be working for a long, long time. How mature can you be after things go left, right? Is this your boss? Is this your coworker? Is this your supervisor? Do they work in a different department? Are they just stopping in at your location for a little while? It can be a bad idea. I think the most important thing is to be very, 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 very selective. Because dating at work can ruin your career, or it can be the best decision that you ever made. Anyhow, I will stop it right there. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Past a half an hour here. If you do have any questions, you can email us, of course. wirepr@gmail, wireprpodcast@gmail.com. Hope you learned something. I think there was many ways that I could have talked about this subject a little bit differently. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the fact that I'm doing this podcast in the morning. Of course, it's my morning voice. You should listen to the ones that I do in the evening. It's kind of strange how. Anyway, I guess we all have our morning and our evening voice. There's so many things that I would like to say about this topic. But the bottom line is just be careful. Know what you're doing, but take your time. If you know you're going to be there for 50 years, maybe not 50 years. If you know you're planning on being there in the same company for 10 to 20 years or more, there's no rush. Now, people might say, well, what if somebody else snaps them up first? Well, that could happen. But all I'm saying to you is let it happen naturally, because you are in your natural environment. So therefore, you can look at things and learn about things naturally and try not to push the envelope. If you are meant to get together, it could happen. And if you feel that somebody else should have been the person and that ship sailed and they're in a happy marriage and, having kids and all that stuff, let it be. Set your sights in other areas. And remember, there are many fish in the sea. All right, that's about it. I will see you next time. I don't know if this was the proper way I should have went about doing this one, but anyhow, this is what I did. Hopefully you've learned something. If anything, maybe you learned this is not how you should go about your life, or this isn't the type of thing that you would like to do with your life as far as dating at work. Maybe you find no difference in dating, maybe the argument at a summer job or a job that you're only going to have for a time is the fact is you're going to quit and you can still keep those relationships. That obviously is an option, and I'm sure it happens that way for many people. Sometimes you just spend a month with someone and then down the road you remember those pleasant interactions. You maybe learned a lot about the person because blurred lines at a part-time job was very easy to see and happen, and therefore maybe you learned a lot about that coworker or whatever it is, and then maybe you learned that is exactly who you'd like to be with, and you're in two different jobs later on. You never know where things could lead down the line, right? Anyhow, this is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Take care, and hopefully you come by again. Peace out. Oh, yeah, before I go, remember, if you have any questions you want to ask or maybe have a topic that you want me to talk about, you can email me at yprpodcast@gmail.com. Take care. Hey, come check out You Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 docs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, well, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully, the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.